Welcome, my friends. Welcome to the outer fringes of reality, where fact meets speculation, where paranoia meets illumination, where madness overlaps the fragile membrane of sanity. Do not be afraid. Open your eyes and open your minds to that region that lies beyond the realm of the known, that region we call the ExoZone. I am your host, Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth. And with me is my co-host and aficionado of all things fringe, and my friend, to boot, the Nerdrotic Channel's Gary Beekler. Gary, hello, welcome.
Hail, Doomcock. What's up, my friend? I am ready to talk about something else. I'm ready.
Something else, anything else.
Something else that's enjoyable. If you really think about it, it's probably a scary topic, but it doesn't scare me at all. I think it's fascinating. So I love this stuff. Let's do it.
This is going to be kind of a little bit of a tour of our current situation regarding unidentified flying objects and so on and so forth. I just wanted to go ahead and tie everything together and point out the enormous amount of weirdness that is going on, not only here on Earth around the topic of disclosure of the reality of UFOs, but also out in space and beyond. In other countries around the world, it seems like UFOs are on a lot of governments' minds, and there may be a reason for it. You know, everything that I'm going to talk about today is in and of itself not extraordinarily convincing in terms of cause of effect, in terms of disclosure, but taken as a preponderance with all the different events and all the different kind of synchronicities and coincidences and so on and so forth and all the details, I think it adds up to a fascinating picture of why the Pentagon created this disclosure situation, why it's happened. I mean, the question has been, and Gary and I have been asking this for a while, why now? Why did the Pentagon come out after the leaks of the Tic Tac UFO footage and after all the TV shows that kind of ran this subject into the ground, made it pedestrian, made it boring? After all of that, why then, like 4 or 5, 6 months later, did the Pentagon, during this crisis, when everyone is distracted, come out and say, oh, and by the way, this is official, it's real. This is real. This is real footage. We're authenticating it. This is the real thing. Why? Why then? Why then? Well, I want to try and paint a picture for you as to a number of these things that add up to one question. Is something going on? Is something weird and real and perhaps even alarming going on? I will put it to you. And this may be a little bit, I mean, there's a lot of information here that I'm trying to string together, so it may be a little bit disjointed. And I am drinking Elijah Craig's small batch bourbon, just so you know. But
I'm here, so I mean,
I'm sharp. Yes, you are. You can.
My whole shtick is disjointed.
Catch me if I fall. As REM.
I'm here for you. You are. But that's a good question. No, that's the question we asked the first time we saw it, and I think you're getting close to answering that question, at least partially. What you put together here.
Well, thank you. And I didn't even get to all of it, man. I was just kind of speed walking it through, but this is weird. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about someone leaked this information about the Tic Tac videos. We don't know who did it, although we actually may have had that kind of broken on the ExoZone when we had that episode, but yeah. But we don't know. We don't know. It leaked out, and then of course it inspired. What was the name? It was Contacted or Disclosed or something like that.
There was. Oh gosh, it was
like 2 shows at least.
There were 2 shows, and one was unidentified,
Right.
and I believe the other one was Contact.
Mhm.
I can't, don't
Yeah.
quote me on that though. But the Unidentified was the other one, and one was To the Stars production, and that was the guitarist from Blink 182, Tom DeLonge,
Right.
which is bizarre in itself. But hey, we've seen weirder things happen, to be honest with you, and I think this is one of them. But it was clearly a faction of ex-government employees and some current government employees working against another faction in the government to try to get information out to the public as much as they could. This whole subject has fractured the UFO community to a point where I think this is great for us, because I think we need to really get things back to grounded, a little more grounded in the UFO community, not like de-aging people and sending them to bases on Mars and stuff, and get back to the UFO stuff, the really unknown stuff that the solid, well, I can't say solid, but the better evidence of stuff that doesn't look clearly faked. And that's the problem with ufology, is you always have to come up with new stuff, or some of these people feel like they have to come up with new stuff, and there just isn't all the time. It's once every few years we get something strange, but it is at once every few years. And I think we're doing that. I wish we could do it more, but I think we're doing that. So, but no, I think something's clearly going on, folks. And Doomcock has put together the pieces of the puzzle here. It's not going to get put together fully, but I think we got something started here.
I hope so. I hope so. Now, like I said, none of these things are taken alone necessarily decisive, and most of them can be explained away as science articles do. But following those two TV shows where Gary and I both were talking about, they would hammer this thing into the ground. I mean, basically they made an entire, series of like 6 episodes or something, 2 series out of 3 videos.
Yep.
3 or 4 videos, which, and they'd hammer it and they'd hammer it and they'd hammer it and they'd hammered it almost like in a court of law, to where it would get, the attention deficit public would just say, okay, we got the point after the first episode. And then the rest would hammer it home, but in a boring way that wouldn't get people worked up. You know what I'm saying? And then it kind of becomes old news and they let it go. And then the Pentagon releases the videos again and says, oh, by the way, we're confirming that these are real. And everybody yawns and says, well, these are the same videos we saw. Okay. And they move on. Why would the Pentagon do that? That was the key question. Why in God's name would they go ahead and stir it up again? Unless they wanted to emphasize, like in a contract. Oh, and by the way, subparagraph 3, subsection 42, UFOs are real. We just want you all to sign off on that. And again here, and initial this page. Why? It's like they're covering their ass for something.
It is.
Well, I mean, it's bizarre, isn't it, dude?
Yeah. It's absolutely bizarre, especially this is a government who's been suppressing this stuff for 70 years. And all of a sudden they want to be all open with us. Huh?
Swamp gas. Yeah.
Internet
It's Venus.
gas.
It's all Venus. Venus gets around. Venus is a promiscuous heavenly body that pretends to be UFOs all around the world. Well, in actual fact, some weird things have been happening. And recently, on the 28th of April this year, there was a dead star 30,000 light years away that suddenly was recorded by radio observatories around the world, flaring with a single millisecond long burst of incredibly bright radio waves that would have been detectable from another galaxy. So a signal came from a dead star in our galaxy, 30,000 light years away, followed up immediately by a bright X-ray counterpart. So you got a radio wave transmission, and then you got an X-ray transmission.
Interesting.
Now, a lot of observatories are shuttered right now, but a lot of amateur ones and a few of the professional ones were monitoring. They got it. They captured it. They are scrambling to analyze the vast amounts of data in these things. They are saying that these are FRBs, or fast radio bursts, which are very, very unusual phenomenon. Fast radio bursts are extremely powerful radio signals from deep space, galaxies literally millions of light years away, and some of them discharging more energy than 500 million suns in the blink of an eye, milliseconds of duration.
Wow.
And nobody truly understands them, but this one was close. 30,000 light years is really, really close.
Yeah.
And now they're hypothesizing that these things are produced by magnetars, which are very dense remnants of neutron stars after a star goes supernova. But this one was very, very strange. I think it's strange. Well, let's just look at everything else that's going on. Okay. Yep. So we have this signal, the two signals, one in radio waves, one in X-rays. And the science alert, actually, this guy Kulkarni, who was speaking to Science Alert, which is where I saw this, is saying, quote, if the same signal came from a nearby galaxy, like one of the nearby typical FRB galaxies, it would look like an FRB to us. Something like this has never been seen before. It is far more normal for magnetars to emit X-rays and gamma radiation than radio waves. But this thing off of a dead star emitted both. Could it have been a signal?
Off of a dead star, by the way.
Off of a dead star.
This isn't a star that was dying. This is a dead star that I guess can still send out fast radio bursts, or a star. Maybe it was a FART, star fart. Who knows?
Star fart. Ooh. What would Safe Space say? Isn't that in Safe Space's, milieu to blow a pink bubble force field out of his ass? And,
there's some internet gas for you, big boy. So no, that's bizarre. Okay, so can I just go the weird science out there woo-woo angle, and maybe they use this dead star as some form of signal? I don't know.
It's possible.
Yeah. So that's crazy. And this is the first time ever that's happened in our we've recorded it in our galaxy.
Yes, that we've detected. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, the weird thing is, at the same time as this is going on, I can't really even structure it in terms of order, but let me just walk through all of these things, and then we'll
do it, man.
Discuss it. But this is
we got you.
This is weird. So right now we have various governments scrambling to go ahead and get back into the space game. There's even something of a space race going on at this time between the US and China. But look at this. Look at what's going on. Governments are acting all of a sudden like maybe we need to prepare for something. Like we need to get prepared for something that has to do with space. We've had disclosure. This has been disclosure, okay? They haven't disclosed what is behind the Tic Tacs, if they know or they don't. They haven't disclosed it. But we also have got the formation of the Space Force, right? By Trump. And let me tell you something, folks. This is weird, okay? Apparently, a commercial either was prepared or was being prepared or something. But Clyde Lewis of Ground Zero got a hold of this commercial and played it on his radio show, Ground Zero. That segment of Ground Zero went dead air as on every outlet, it was blocked.
What?
Dead air. And they didn't know at the time that they were going out dead air as they were playing it. And I was listening. It's like, what the hell? And I was like looking at it. I was looking at the waveform on, I listened on SoundCloud.
Yep.
And I saw it was just blank. And then later on the show, after a commercial break, an engineer came in and he says, tell me what you told me. He says, we were blocked. Well, our signal was not going out. Well, was there equipment? No equipment malfunction. Our signal was not going out. And it got cut off at different points, depending on what service was doing it, whether it's radio or whether, so there was an advertisement, recruitment for Space Force, that a commercial, kind of be all you can be. They were playing it. It got blanked, cut off all over the country. So there's that. They were also talking about Chinese efforts in space, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Following the disclosure by the Pentagon that this stuff was real, now Japan has started trying to train their pilots to deal with aircraft with extraordinary abilities. Taro Kono, the defense minister of Japan, said in response to the Pentagon disclosures that though he doesn't believe in UFOs, he's not taking any chances. And they have begun hypothetically trying to train their pilots to deal with, well, something that absolutely could not be dealt with. But that's weird. That's very weird.
That is weird. I mean, it makes sense. I've never understood why we're just going to pretend these things don't exist. Never mind that they've been seen as far back as we've recorded history and possibly before on cave paintings. We're just going to pretend they don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never believed that, by the way. But again, coming out in public and saying we're going to prepare for this stuff on top of the Navy announcing it. Again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And then the announcement of Space Force at all, which was just, I mean,
bizarre.
Okay, bizarre. You can certainly say that, hey, we've needed a Space Force, or I want to get our space program going. And I think actually Tesla and SpaceX was lighting the fire under the government's ass. Competition breeds innovation. And I think there's that, but it seems like Space Force came out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
And however you feel about the president, okay, I know a lot of people think, again, however you feel about the guy, there's no dumb billionaires. Okay. So, and I mean, there's weird ones, there's bizarre ones, and I'll say there's an exception for ones who inherited money, but the ones who made it, they're not dumb. They can certainly be a-holes, but they're not dumb. So I think that's weird that came out of nowhere. I loved it. I mean, I'm all about, exploration, but I don't know about militarizing it. I think that's what for? Are we going to fight each other in space, or is there something else?
That is the question. We're going to get to some of that too. To give you an example of the shift in attitude at all levels of society now, there are Stanford professors right now sounding the alarm about plans to bring back samples from Mars to Earth. Now, this Stanford professor, his name escapes me, but was saying that for prudence, for safety, you must treat any Martian samples brought back to Earth as extraterrestrial biological objects. You must treat anything from Mars and every piece of equipment that comes back from Mars like it's coated with Ebola, like it is dangerous as hell, like it might kill all life on Earth. That is how uncertain now all the scientists, despite poo-pooing, are that Mars isn't hosting life right now. I mean, they put the astronauts from the moon in quarantine. Well, I tell you, Mars has a hell of a lot more chance of having something real and something bad. And we all know how bad it is when something bad just jumps from bats to people.
Yeah.
But think about something that jumps from a Martian flat cat to people, something that has never been on this planet before.
Yeah. I mean, comets trap moisture, which could be from, I mean, there could be some organism in there. Absolutely. A meteor. That's why you don't like just walk up to a meteor and just touch it, or, yeah, that's a meteorite.
Meteor shit.
Meteor shit. It could be a giant space poop. It's a space poop.
No, I was talking about Creep Show. You've seen that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Stephen King. Meteor shit. And he gets
meteor shit
up by the green stuff. Yeah.
Hey, we lady, thanks for the ride.
Folks, even on the ExoZone. Yeah. That's a great movie, by the way, Creep Show.
God damn, it's a great movie.
Oh, it's great, man. I loved Leslie Nielsen and Ted Danson. Oh, poor Harry. He's gone. Glub, 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 glub. But I digress. So scientists now are extremely paranoid that, no, that stuff we see on the rover growing isn't any kind of bacterial colonies or anything. No, but just the same, we don't want that shit back here.
Nope.
So, thank God, at least a little sanity. So what's going on in space? You talked about why, weaponized space. Is there any need? Well, right now, let's talk about China. Either has or is looking to send cargo to the moon and personnel, essentially starting up a base there. I mean, they've talked about that, and that is ongoing. In fact, right now, they have not only a rover on the so-called dark side of the moon, it's actually the far side of the moon, but they also have a satellite in orbit around the moon, and it is called Kuheo. It's the Magpie Bridge, essentially what they call it. China is basically relaying data from its rover on the far side of the moon to Earth. So they're there. They're looking to start a base up there. The U.S. is apparently countering this with some kind of new space plane, which they have actually admitted to, although they won't talk about its capabilities or its payload or anything. It's like a stealth shuttle. It's called the X-37B, which is launching on May 16th. And China lifted off something on Tuesday. So, space has suddenly become something of a hot zone centered around the moon. Well, what's going on the moon? A lot of stuff is going on the moon right now. On April 9th, there was video uploaded to YouTube of two craft flying over the moon, casting shadows on the surface. It was a shot during daylight, and you could plainly see these craft that look a bit like the Tic Tacs flying over the craters of the moon. You've seen that, haven't you, Gary?
Yep. Yes, I have.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think of it?
Those crafts were huge. I am not entirely convinced it was real, but I'm not entirely convinced anything I see is real these days. But if I always then ask the question, okay, if somebody faked it, great. Why? I mean, are you going to monetize it? I mean, to monetize, sure. If you put it on your YouTube channel and you get 1 million views, yeah, you can make a few bucks off it. But that was taken from somebody else. It was just somebody's video. So is it for shits and giggles?
A Frenchman, and he uploaded it. And originally, I completely dismissed it. I mean, it's like I was like you. But let's look at some other things. Okay, let's look at some other things, dude. This is some weird stuff. Okay, so on April 9th, you have this video uploaded to YouTube of two craft flying over the moon, casting shadows on the surface. Well, a few days ago, a video was released, a Facebook Live video showing an anomaly near the moon. Now, some were calling this Planet X. They were saying, ha, look, there's Planet X, real adjacent to the moon. But in actual fact, what it appears to be now is a plume of regolith, which is the surface of the moon, the moon dust, that shot up into space from the moon and caught the sunlight at an angle. It was a plume, essentially, from either an explosion on the moon or an impact of some body on the moon. There was no comment from NASA about this, but Sky News posted an article that said, it said that basically there appears to be unusual seismic activity going on the moon right now. The name of the article, and maybe you could pull it up, Gary. I didn't have a chance to look at it. It's called Possible Tectonic Activity Detected on the Moon. Well, the moon has been long thought to be a dead satellite.
Yeah.
Just like that star that emitted that burst from 30,000 light years away has been regarded as a dead star. But there appears to be evidence that the moon is not only shaking, but it is in places cracking. So we have China running around on the far side of the moon, seeing God knows what. We've got UFOs photographed flying over the surface. We've got some kind of plume coming up from the surface of the moon. And the moon is being detected to have possible tectonic activity, shaking and cracking. So there is a lot going on, but there's more. There's more. 4 days ago, an asteroid the size of a diesel truck missed Earth by only 4,000 miles.
Ooh.
4,000 miles, Gary. An asteroid the size of a diesel truck. If that thing had hit, holy shit.
Tunguska.
Yeah. Oh, it would have been bad. But this thing was absolutely unseen and undetected until the last minute. Yay, science.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're screwing around with all sorts of garbage and we're not paying attention to the heavens. And it seems like we are moving into a part of space where there are more and more of these objects that are missing us. We're kind of moving through a cloud of shit right now.
We have been since 2012.
Mm-hmm. And it's getting worse.
Yeah.
We're getting in the thick part of it or something because it's escalating. Oh, and by the way, the name of that asteroid, get this. The name of the asteroid was 2020 JJ. Jar Jar Abrams, you bastard.
It came too late. Well, you never could finish. So that's weird. That's really weird. And yeah, so the one that blew up over Russia in 2013, which really started people thinking about this more often because we got to see all that footage. It's one thing hearing about something, it's another thing seeing it. And we saw the sound wave hit, which was incredible. And that got people thinking. So Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock have both been on this quite a bit, that we need to get on the technology. All the countries need to start working together, and we need to start mapping, like scanning the skies immediately with the best technology, with the best minds, because it is a real danger. And again, it's not going to be, we're going to see the extinction event one we can see, but the one you just mentioned could wipe out a city if it explodes. Easy. So the one over Russia was as big as a VW.
Right. And this was the size of a diesel truck. So somebody in the chat was asking, how would that have done any damage? Yes.
Absolutely. It depends on where it blows up. And usually it's in the upper atmosphere, but if it blows up right over, say, downtown San Francisco, it's going to flatten everything. Okay. Yeah. And like big buildings will still be standing, but every piece of glass will be broken. If you're standing next to a window, you're dead. If you're standing next to a garage door, you're going to get flattened. It can be extremely dangerous.
Oh yeah, I mean, one exploded over I believe the Atlantic that we were talking about maybe about a month or two ago. That actually is around New Year's.
Yep.
And nobody remarked on it. NASA didn't say anything about it because it happened over the ocean, but it happened.
No, that Russian one, that taught me. I did, because I never thought about it, but you see the explosion, you could see and then you can count down when the sound wave hits. That's about how much time you have to take cover if you see a flash. Like, get your ass, I mean, I don't know, under a table or something, do the, duck and cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have much time, but you got enough don't stare at it. Go, oh, look at that pretty cloud, because it burns up and it looks weird, but
you can't. I just got sent an article. The article, one of the articles I was referencing by Thundercats Ho, and I want to thank you, Thundercats Ho. So this is from Sky News. Moon is shrinking like a raisin and shaking, says NASA. So there you go.
The moon has shrinkage. That's disturbing.
It has shrinkage. There was shrinkage. It's normal, Jerry. It's normal. I was in the water. I was in the water. Tell her about shrinkage. But the thing is, this is scary stuff, folks. Let me just tie this all together. Let me just go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and bring it together as we discuss the quickening and what this all means. So this is the situation, okay? We've got a diesel truck asteroid that came within 4,000 miles of the Earth. We have an impact on the moon or an explosion that created a plume. We have video of ships flying over the moon. We have a dead star shooting out two blasts, one fast radio blast and one blast of X-rays. That could be a signal. Oh, a signal to what? Well, it could be to the 19 centaurs that are out around Jupiter, moving in retrograde orbits and eccentric positions. We've got the Pentagon disclosure of Tic Tacs and stuff. We've got the founding of the Space Force. And all of this seems to have been preceded by a Oumuamua flying through our solar system that the head of astronomy at Harvard publicly admitted and published an article about, that this thing makes sense as an alien probe or vessel because of the way it accelerated and changed course. Got a slew of TV specials about the Tic Tacs prior to the Pentagon disclosure. And we have Japan landing the Hayabusa 2 probe on the asteroid known as Ryugu to research what they could find out about it. The images came back, and it turns out this asteroid seems to be red and blue in color, just as Oumuamua was red. And furthermore, this asteroid, which was thought to be spherical at one time, turns out that this asteroid is shaped like a diamond, and it has retrograde rotation. So there is a whole lot of weird shit going on around this disclosure that it just begs the question: has the Pentagon finally decided that we better start spilling some beans here, or the beans are going to be spilled all over us?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think so. No, certainly. I think there's no way they just tell us this because they feel like it.
No.
You know what? Hey, it's a slow news day. Let's tell everybody UFOs are real. Okay, cool. All right. No. There's definitely a reason, and the reason is probably far worse than actually hearing about a Tic Tac. Sorry. And there's more video out there, by the way. So they released this video and they confirmed this video, but there's a lot more of it. There's clearer video, and there's still that mothership that was right under the surface of the water in San Diego that the female pilot saw. So right. And they don't talk about that enough. That's the one I'm curious about. And listen, I'm from San Diego. People have been seeing things like this since as long as I've been alive. There's always been weirdness around the islands around there. Now, most of them are bombarded by the Navy, the ones near San Diego. And then there's Catalina, which there's a bunch of weird stuff about Catalina. We can go to the woo-woo giant stuff and the possible bases out there. But the only weird thing I've ever seen in my life, I don't know what it was. And yeah, I was on a couple of things that night, but it wouldn't, neither of those things would have caused me to hallucinate something like this. So it was like 2 a.m. I'm walking, it's Encinitas, California, and I'm walking home and I'm facing west. It's night, obviously it's dark. And over the ocean, I see these green flashes, like really bright green. Now, not the green flash you get when the sun comes up. No, these are straight up green flashes. Now, at first I thought that in La Jolla, if you grew up down there, there's this hotel that used to shoot these green laser beams by UTC. If you're from San Diego, it's in La Jolla. But they would turn them off at 9 o'clock at night. They'd always turn them off, and maybe, but you could see them from pretty far away, but it's a straight beam, right? It wasn't a flash that pretty much covered the entire horizon, didn't go all the way over my head in the sky. And I've seen that on 2 different occasions, these green flashes. Now, who knows what it was? It was clear. That's the only weird thing I've seen, but my friends have seen stuff. There's always been weird stuff going on down there. We get the mystery booms. They've been going on since forever. They still go on down there. And it's not when, usually, we've got military bases near us. So there's sonic booms. And I know that there's big difference because sonic booms don't generally shake the ground. And these mystery booms almost feel like they're emitting from the ground. So there's been that stuff. So, but I digress. There is weird stuff going on. It's centered around there. And I want to know more, and obviously they're in the ocean. That's the best place. Think about it, if they can travel interstellar space or a dimension or whatever, they'll be in the ocean. There's a base in the ocean. We'll never know about it ever.
No, that absolutely is true. And it's also funny. I just want to go ahead and talk about this. UFO sightings are on the rise, folks. I mean, that's kind of like the capper on all this, is that UFO sightings are on the rise. And in fact, a lot of paranormal stuff is on the rise. I just saw an article in the New York Times talking about during these periods of isolation, sightings of ghosts and UFOs are up all over. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That's a very, very strange.
We're a little less busy, so maybe we're seeing more stuff. I don't know. Are there less plane flights? I imagine there are.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, oh God. Yeah. And less people outside looking to the stars.
So
less people.
Yeah. I remember when 9/11 happened and there was that, the shutdown of the planes for 2 days and all the people were like, I had my binoculars and my telescope out. I was looking for stuff. I didn't see anything though. Yeah. Too bad. But I'm not surprised. There's more people that are less distracted with work and some day to day. I don't want to call it mundane because I'm sure some people would love to get back to the mundane day to day, but I'm not surprised at all. And I did read about the UFO. I didn't hear about other paranormal stuff, but I did read about the UFO sightings being way up, not just up, way up.
Yeah. Well, it's true. And it may have something to do on a larger scale with consciousness itself and the, conscious universe, or I like to talk about that, the Eastern kind of view of the, non-duality of reality. But this is interesting. In this article, John E. L. Tenney, who describes himself as a paranormal researcher and is a former host of the TV show Ghost Stalkers, estimates that he received 2 to 5 reports of a haunted house each month in 2019. Lately, it's been more like 5 to 10 in a week. Tenney has seen something like this before. In 1999, immediately before Y2K, he witnessed a spike in reported ghost and poltergeist activity, as well as UFO sightings, which in his experience are also on the rise in this moment. Quote, "It does seem to have something to do with our heightened state of anxiety, our hypervigilance," he said, unquote. So that's interesting. But here's another interesting thing. Before 9/11, there was this series of random integer generators in the basement, I believe, of MIT. They had a number of random number generators that have been going on an experiment of some kind. Before everything happened on 9/11, they started generating patterns and heightened activity. Yes, patterns. And that was very unusual. So, it may have been that on major upheavals or, disturbances that are coming in the collective unconscious, it influences the generation of random numbers. Weird, huh?
Weird.
And hashtag only Shatner is Kirk. Damn right.
Yep.
Only Shatner is Kirk. Thank you all for using that hashtag. Damn it. Twitter's got to be good for something, man. If it's not good for that, if we can't agree that hashtag only Shatner is Kirk, then what are we on? What are we on Twitter for? I just don't know.
I question myself every day.
I know, me too. But let's go ahead and let some of these folks chime in with us, and we'll keep discussing this. But any thoughts before we jump into that, Gary? Overall, I mean, am I crazy, or is it interesting that these things are all kind of unfolding at once?
I know there's a synchronicity to reality, to the universe, for sure. Yeah. But no, I don't think the announcement of Space Force and the announcement within generally the same period of time, 3-4 years, of the announcement of UFOs are real. Again, they're not saying aliens are real. They're saying UFOs are real. But I mean, unless they're just, I don't know who'd be piloting them. Maybe us, but that could be just as dangerous. No, I think there's something going on here.
I do too.
And we will get to the bottom of it, or we won't.
We'll give it a shot. But what does the chat say? That's what we should know.
Yeah.
The Gilbert Lozano with $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Gilbert. Says, "I love you, Harvey, you green octopus thing. LOL. I'm not an octopus. I'm an eldritch god. You just see my monstrosity is tentacles, because that's the scariest thing you can conceive of. But no, I'm not an octopus, although I'm frequently depicted as such. And good to see you. Love you too, Gilbert. Especially love you on a cracker. Love to munch your whole universe. Thank you, Harvey. Appreciate that. Everything that gets sent here is mine. Well, we'll talk about that. Dilbertson with a 20-pound super chat. Hail, Dilbertson. Dilbertson says, "Hail to the great conglomerate of curious truth, the joyful concatenation of exo info, the indisputable cream of the censored cerebral collective, the grand doomrotic. At what point does the ExoZone become the new normal?" I think about 2 months ago, when the thing that cannot be spoken of hit, at least on YouTube. We can't speak of it on YouTube. Dilbertson, I think the ExoZone has always been normal. It's just a question of perceiving it as normal. Most people are not aware. They are not woke to alternate reality, but we are awakening them. I've already had my rant against the grammatical offense that is the term woke, but never mind.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate it so much. It's just so ignorant. You want me to back your fucking movement, at least go ahead and have it be grammatically correct, for God's sakes. Thank you. That was very well written, Dilbertson. Very much appreciated, brother. Hail to you. And yes, the joyful concatenation of exo info. That's a good description for us. Crazy Cat Guy with a $5 super chat says, I won't be able to listen to the entire live stream, so I'm sending this out now in case I don't return to the stream before it ends. Heart, the ExoZone. Heart, Crazy Cat Guy, and thank you, Crazy Cat Guy, very much for that. And Dave Bob says, Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes. Damn right. Words to live by, Dave Bob.
Yep.
Mitch Tebow unleashed a Doomacorn in the chat, and then he unleashed another Doomacorn in the chat, and Crazy Cat Guy came following up with a Doomacorn, and Mitch Tebow unleashed another Doomacorn to chase that Doomacorn that was chasing his Doomacorn, and Gilbert Lozano unleashed another Doomacorn in the chat, and then Michelle P. with a $1.99 super chat said, hail the ExoZone. Thank you, Michelle P.
Hail.
In the Doomcock sweepstakes. And of course, Mitch Tebow dropped a poop with corn in the chat, another poop with corn in the chat, because the Doomacorns do poops in the chat that explode into rainbows, and Crazy Cat Guy provided a rainbow of poop in the chat. It's going crazy over here, folks. This is our lives now. Mitch Tebow with a $13.99 Canadian super chat. Thank you, my legionnaire and friend Mitch Tebow, who says, hail to Doomcock and hail to my fellow Doomentites in the chat. Happy birthday, Overlord DVD. Well, my birthday is tomorrow. It's tomorrow. It's not today. But
Happy birthday early.
Thank you. But thank you, Mitch. I appreciate that, brother. And yes, Jeffrey Wolf with an excellent point and a $2 super chat says, have you heard of the Battle of Los Angeles in 1942? Oh, yes, I have. The Battle of Los Angeles. In the middle of the night, a strange craft was just gliding willy-nilly over Los Angeles. And in the heightened paranoia of the war, spotlights riveted it, pounded it, and they started firing at it, firing at this thing over Los Angeles. And it was silent. And it basically, if you look at the original negative that was published in the newspaper of the photo that survives this thing, sure as hell looks like a big saucer in the middle of all of those spotlights. They didn't bring it down, of course, because, if it was a saucer, you're not going to shoot it down with primitive projectiles. What are you, crazy? But what do you think of the Battle of Los Angeles? You've seen that. I mean, I'm sure you've poured over it, Gary, haven't you?
Poured over it. Hey, 1941 was kind of loosely based on it, right? So yes, which I like that movie. I know it's bad, but I like it. I've poured over it, and that happened. That straight up happened.
Oh, it did, for
there
sure.
was a ton of paranoia, but the thing is, there were trained observers, and I mean, it's certainly a viable angle that somebody kind of freaked out, and then we started shooting at nothing. But there's a picture of something there, and there was enough eyewitnesses, and man, stuff was I mean, that was so terrible. They had, spent shells and stuff like raining down on LA, and a bunch of people got hurt. Right. And yeah, I have gone over it quite a bit. I didn't believe it at first, and now I'm convinced it happened. So.
Oh, it happened I absolutely believe it was. What the hell was it? It looks like, doesn't it look? I mean, I guess I want to ask you, when I look at it, even though it's like pinned in bright light, it still looks like the curves and edges of a saucer to me. Am I crazy?
No, you're not. That's exactly what it looks like. So, and I've seen that saucer before. I can't pull up the pictures now, but I'll do it at a future ExoZone, where that saucer looks a lot like a couple of other famous saucers from that era. And there are similarities with a lot of UFOs. I'm looking at something. I haven't gotten to MUFON. I used to go to MUFON all the time. And I haven't gone there lately, but
here we go. You've got that's about the tectonic.
That's the tectonic thing,
right?
I'll pull up the MUFON thing in a second. I'm kind of scanning it right now, but I can pull up MUFON's whole take on that, which is extensive.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting. Oh, and by the way, in the chat, somebody said, I'm trying to see. Simon Wilde said Alex Jones interviewed Stephen Greer yesterday. Today,
did
dogs are living together.
What?
So I'd like to see that. I know Alex Jones interviewed
Alex
Dr.
Jones?
Stephen
I thought
Greer.
he was out of the UFO thing. Well, he didn't like it very much, but maybe
Well, when the water turns the frogs gay, you're supposed to do something about it.
yeah. I'll eat my neighbor's ass. I will. I'll
eat
slice
my
them up
na-
and eat
yes,
them.
I'll eat
eat it.
my neighbors.
I'll eat it. I'll slice them up really good.
That was too much, man.
The best. That was the
You
best.
know, I don't dump on Alex. You know, I used to watch Alex all the time, but you know, man, going on about that. I'll carve him up. I've got the knife. It's that was a little much. I'm sorry. It's a little too much.
Yeah.
That was silly. It was weird. But I think it's a saucer. And you know what it reveals is that UFOs are dicks. I mean, just straight up dicks. I mean, what kind of dick is it that's gliding along and then the spotlights come on and they start firing at it and it's like, you know, I could go ahead and fly away, but I think I'm just going to keep gliding and let them shoot. Let them dump shells on their own heads. I'm not going anywhere. I think I'm just going to stroll. La-di-da. I mean,
let's go. Hey, man,
move.
let's turn on their nuclear weapons and then turn them off real quick.
They do that later. There was nothing to do at that time. But yes, I think that they are a little bit of space dicks.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are. I think they are. Jeffrey Wolf says pre-Roswell event, it floated back out over the ocean and down the coast. Several people died in Los Angeles due to projectiles hitting them. Yep. Yep. It's weird. It's weird.
It was weird. And it was before, I mean, they tried to poo-poo it, but that was before major cover-ups were happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the whole UFO craze, of course, it started as a trend. And I think a lot of people were seeing things that weren't there, of course. But as we always say, it's that 1%, that 2% you can't explain. And there's so much of that now over the years that,
right.
And listen, yes, we know space is big, but we're finding out that maybe I'm pretty convinced that they've been here for a while. They're observing and they're not going to mess with this if they would have messed with this. But there might be different. I mean, as above, so below. There could be factions out there, and maybe, I don't know, maybe something's coming. Maybe something's coming. Maybe it's a comet. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe it's a civilization. But I think the lesson we can learn from the time we're in right now, which I don't think any of us ever thought we'd really see in our lifetime. We're seeing a lot of things that we didn't think we would see in our lifetime. And I don't want to really get in that conversation, but now I think people will be more open to weird things can happen and just be prepared. Be prepared. And I think that's what the Japanese Air Force is doing. They're just simply being prepared. They're like, you know, I didn't think the whole world would get locked down. So maybe we should consider this UFO thing. I mean, like, obviously, you know, strange things happen. It wakes you up to other things. So,
yeah, it's true. And I mean, look, it's one thing to say theoretically that, okay, you know, 1 to 3% of UFO sightings are unexplainable. That's one thing. It's another thing for the Pentagon to say and point to these videos and say, these are them and we can't explain them. Well, that means UFOs exist. That's disclosure right there. That's half of disclosure right there. 50% of disclosure. We now know that there is unexplained superior aircraft of some kind, aerial phenomenon of some kind, operating in Earth's atmosphere. What we don't know, what has not been disclosed, is what they are.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because they don't know it, or if it's because they don't want to say.
With that Pentagon video, I'm absolutely convinced with the Tic Tac one. That just
Mhm.
I'm 1,000% convinced on that one. The other one from the East Coast, I'm still not like 1,000 or 100%, not 1,000, 100% convinced on that one. But I'm convinced on the pilot reports that they didn't get video of the Bach or the square that was in a sphere that
Oh, that
damn
was,
near crashed one of the planes, and they talked to him
yeah.
on unidentified. And I mean, again, these pilots, these are pilots. These are very serious people.
Yeah.
When it comes to, they're responsible for billions of dollars of equipment. They are the best trained pilots on the planet. They wouldn't just make this. As a matter of fact, this is the last thing they want to deal with, right? So the fact that they're coming out and talking about it is good too, because, and hopefully more of them will come out because they have so many stories. We've said this before, but if any of you out there know an airline pilot, I bet you one of them has a story of weirdness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh, yeah.
my ex father-in-law was an air pilot. And he told me all kinds of crazy stories. So
I think it's fantastic. I'm fascinated. Apex Tyrannus says, check out the YouTube videos by Red Panda Koala. He has done some of the best analysis of the recent UFO disclosures by TTSA. Interesting. Red
will check
Panda
it out.
Koala, thank you.
Thank you.
I want to send a shout out to 3D Trekker, who is in the house.
Yes.
And I'm glad you are 3D Trekker. First of all, I want to say that I sent you a DM asking you if I could open the package that you sent me before my birthday. And I never heard back from you, so I have not opened it. But tomorrow's my birthday, so I will be opening your package 3D Trekker that you sent me. But if you're wondering why I didn't say anything, it's because I didn't open it. I asked you for permission because when it's close to your birthday, you should wait. And but you didn't tell me, so I assumed the answer is no, and that's why I didn't say anything. I have not opened it as of yet, but that was not, as I explained in my DM, from indifference. It was from discipline and trying to, be considerate. So anyway, 3D Trekker, thank you. I look forward to seeing what you sent me. And with a $20 super chat, which is very, very generous of you, 3D Trekker, and I thank you, my friend. He says, hail. Just a little something to keep the lights on in Xanadu. Thank you very much, 3D Trekker, and thank you for that present, and I cannot wait to open it. He says, open it. With a $10 super chat, 3D Trekker says, open it. Happy early birthday, my friend. Okay, after this stream, I'm going to go and open that sucker. Thank you, 3D Trekker. I appreciate it. And yes, Simon Wild says Secure Team 10 has gone a bit quiet lately. Yes. Poor Secure Team 10, poor Tyler. I don't know what's going on with him. Do you know?
I can suspect. I probably some domestic problems that have been out there on Twitter, and I don't want to speculate more than that. I'm just saying, yeah, he's going through a bad time. He did come out with like a legit vid about 2 or 3 weeks ago, like a Tyler vid. But yeah, there's something going on behind the scenes. My guess, I mean, like, shit, I'm speculating, Tyler. So if I'm wrong, sorry. I like his channel a lot, but it looks a lot like either domestic problems or substance abuse or something like that. Maybe. Well, that's usually when people disappear and things that's behind it, but I don't know that for a fact. That's just me speculating. I hope that's not it. I hope it's something else.
Me too. And I mean, I like the guy. I've never met him, but Tyler, if you ever want to come on ExoZone, let us know. Shit. Yeah, love to have Tyler on, talk about UFOs and stuff. But for a while there, remember the video where he had some weird vehicle parked outside of his place?
Yeah,
and he was feeling very paranoid about that going on. And then, of course, he had the horrible accident on his motorcycle where he broke his leg in a really bad way. So, I mean, the guy's been through a lot. So, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me.
No. And you can put two things together with a motorcycle accident and an injury. And, but listen, with Art Bell's remember Art Bell's paranoia? I'm sure you all remember it. I mean, unfortunately, we found out when he passed what fueled a lot of that. Art unfortunately had a substance abuse problem, and that's not anything I'm judging him on. Obviously, he had his demons too, which sucks, and too bad he didn't get help. But that's what took him away, unfortunately. But lessons got to be learned from that.
Unfortunately, I have here a piece of tape from the 90s that may shed some light on what happened to Art Bell. It has a lot of hiss, but I've managed to cut the hiss out during the segments where he speaks. And this is what was recorded that I think explains a lot. So the other day, I saw Bigfoot in my vegetable garden outside. Only the problem is, I have subsequently realized through detailed photographic analysis that it was not Bigfoot, but it was a chupacabra in a Bigfoot costume.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
I am being surveilled and I am fearful. So there you go. He became convinced that it was not Bigfoot in his vegetable garden. It was chupacabra in a Bigfoot outfit.
That is not far off of some of the stuff. If I listened to him religiously, I did not miss a show. And I was listening the night he thought he had a guy outside his door with a gun. Mm-hmm. And he thought that was fired at his house, and he jumped off the air. I mean, that was when he got this whole thing together, and he started his own website when he got away from satellite radio. Mm-hmm. And he went on for about a year, I think. And there were some of his best shows. He got Graham Hancock back. He got everybody back, and he was ripping Nuri, and it was great. And then something happened, and maybe there was actually like a stalker out there. I don't know, but it freaked him out, and I'm done. I retired. And that was the last week. He popped on I forgot what her name. Some woman took over the show, and it was Midnight in the Desert. I don't know if you guys remember Midnight in the Desert. And he popped on a couple times, and that was it. It's so sad. That guy was like a personal hero of mine. So
he was. Here's another little snippet. It's another little snippet.
It's amazing you got all this audio.
Art and I hang out. We do, and you have my permission to play this. All right, this is from I think 94.
94. Good year.
It has come to my attention that while not every vampire is a garden gnome, every garden gnome is a vampire. So I don't know. It's sad. It's sad. Agent Pepsi 1 says,
hey, every drug he was on, I've been on, so I know what they do.
Okay. I don't.
No, but I wonder what the source of that hissing was. Think it was the audio or something else?
It was the amplification of the tape. But then, it was either the amplification of the tape, but then I used audio scrubbing to clean it out during the speech, or it was that I couldn't hiss and do the whole. I don't know. One of the other
helped you out there.
I don't know.
I don't want the sound effect.
I don't want to say. But Agent Pepsi 1 says, my husband is a commercial pilot, flies for FedEx. I know he has seen things, but generally refuses to talk about it. I want to say, what the hell, Agent Pepsi 1? What the hell? Girl, you are a knockout blonde that has mini skirts. And you're telling me that you cannot get your husband to go ahead and talk about the things he's seen in the sky? Who are you really working for, Agent Pepsi 1? It just seems like you're not really working for our side, because you have the tools, the capabilities to extract this information, and yet you refuse to extract the information. Why will the information not be disclosed, eh? Agent Pepsi 1? So I don't know. I'm a little suspicious of Agent Pepsi One there.
Yeah, wear a gray like baggy onesie until he talks.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, Agent Pepsi One. Son of a gun. Come on, get inventive. Holy crap! You know, I mean, I'm stunned. Agent Pepsi One is an agent, A, and B, obviously is well equipped to get anything she wants out of a man, and she says, Doomcock, he is evasive. He talks around the subject. I have asked him. Don't ask. Demand.
There is I mean, like, hey, no shade on Mr. Agent Pepsi One at all.
No.
But I think a lot of people just have a hard time with the subject. That's why it gets so, I mean, people get so defensive and they mock it. And I don't want to say it's fear. I want to just say it breaks a worldview, you know, it's
True.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds laughable at first. And the fact that, you know, it's much better now, but the fact that it's still hard to even have these conversations show how institutionalized we all are. I mean, that's straight up what it is. We are fed the government version of events constantly. Our universities, which are supposed to be for higher learning and thinking about things like that, have become so institutionalized to one side, unfortunately, that we're just, you know, it doesn't help when we're bombarded every day with information, and then we try to bring up something that's you know, outside of the narrative, and you get mocked. And sure, there's, again, what doesn't help is the Wilcox out there who, I mean, as entertaining as he is, de-aging people and going to Martian bases is not going to help the cause.
No.
Should he be able to tell his story? Sure, absolutely. And I'm grown up enough to know it's crap. But I mean, if you like it, you like it. That's okay. But it doesn't help. It doesn't help. We need to focus more on. I mean, that guy gets tons of traction and stuff. So, and God bless him for it. But we need more Richard Dolans in this world, who
Absolutely.
are have a more pragmatic approach towards things, I think. So
we really do. Agent Pepsi One says, Doomcock, there are professional consequences for commercial pilots. Well, yes,
there is.
But with your wife in the sanctity of your home, come on. But that's all right. I'm just teasing your Agent Pepsi One.
And that's another thing. That's another thing is, like, people can still lose their jobs over this crap. It's like, dude, you trust this guy to fly your plane, and then when he sees something, you don't want to hear about it. You know, that's crazy to me.
But all the wackiness in the, you know, UFO community right now,
it's not even a community anymore.
It reminds me of a song. Those implants in my head, reanimating the dead. It's bullshit. But I think Sinatra sang that years ago.
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, look.
Oh, Frankie.
Listen, but there's still, you know, alternative 3. Maybe batch consignment of components are being shipped to Mars and the Moon, but I don't think so. I don't know.
There might be something up there like ruins, and I totally believe that. But
it ticks me off that right now, China might be, you know, raiding the ruins and the tombs and everything, and, you know, or maybe the plume of Reolith was from the probe getting disintegrated by the aliens up there. Said, well, okay, you're going to roam around here over our dead bodies, mofo, and boom, hit it so hard that it cracked the moon. Who knows?
Linda Moulton Howe was talking yesterday about, well, of course, she's, you know, into her pyramids or structures, basalt structures 2 miles under the ice, under Antarctica, which, you know, that could be there. But she was talking about, there was an article that if we do go to Mars, one of the places we could inhabit and stay there are the lava tubes. They can, because, you know, the surface obviously is uninhabitable with the radiation and what stuff growing on our rover that we don't know. And maybe that's what did them in. Who knows? Maybe it's still there. Maybe it's like some killer fungus.
Oh yeah, it looked definitely like something was eating the treads and growing. I'm just saying, looked a bit like the Andromeda strain to me.
Yeah, that's a straight up Twilight Zone episode or something.
It was
on Mars, and it's like, what's this algae? And then all of a sudden, it's like Algae Man.
Anyway, I liked my little song.
I liked it.
I thought it was good. I couldn't get the other line though. So the other line would be those implants in my head reanimating the dead. I don't care what he said, it's bullshit. So there you go. Couldn't quite get that third line, but now I did. Now I feel complete.
You should do an album of Frank Sinatra sings Danzig. I think that would be good. I don't know.
Rammstein. That would be good. Or it'd be, it's Rammstein.
Mother. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's like that what was it? The song Crazy Train, right? That was the actual song for the Osbournes. Yes. Crazy, hey, but that's how it goes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Michael Bublé used to do that stuff once in a while.
I hate Bublé.
But he did. I love his Spider-Man song though. That was good.
Spider-Man.
He did at the end of Spider-Man 2. Michael Bublé sings the Spider-Man theme at the very end of the credits. It's magical. I love it. But yeah, I usually don't listen to him.
Yeah, I can't stand him. I can't stand him like just basically lifting Sinatra arrangements and then changing the key slightly so it's less good. It basically, Bublé is the Jar Jar Abrams of music. Ooh. Okay, that's how I feel like. He just takes something great and he just changes it just a little bit and makes it worse. That's what he does. Booble sucks. Booble sucks. I agree. I hate Booble. Can't stand him.
But I like Spider-Man song.
Well, it's no, that's fair. Well, stopped watches right twice a day. So
yeah, exactly.
He did a good song there. Eldritch Thrust Lord with a $2 super sticker of a farty hardy, and I thank you, Eldritch Thrust Lord, for that. Stargate 404 with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Stargate 404, who says, "What if human civilization is cyclical?" Uh-oh. Civilization advances until postmodernism pops up and deconstructs everything until we're back to cave paintings. Well, that sounds like a comment for Gary, because he's definitely the expert here on past civilizations and the cyclical nature of life on Earth.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that is something I absolutely believe in. And I think, there's no hard evidence to prove that, but there's a cyclical nature to our trends, which it's hard to pinpoint, except when pop culture started coming around. And when pop culture came around, you see trends repeat roughly within 20 years, 20, 30 years. Back in the 80s, the 60s were in vogue. The 80s have been in vogue, and now that we're shifting into the 90s, remember the whole, in the late 90s, people were like wearing bell bottoms again, and disco made a comeback. So that's a microcosm or of a much bigger picture that you're not wrong at all. That I don't want to get people too scared, but I have universal nature paranoia like everybody else. So we're in a pretty serious situation right now, and I'm waiting for the other thing to happen, because sometimes that does happen where multiple calamities, sometimes they come in groups. So hopefully they don't, but I'm always thinking about that stuff. That universal nature paranoia has gotten me out of a lot of jams, though, being extra prepared for stuff. And I think it has a lot to do with, just my life, how I live my life. Once you're, gone through the thralls of drug addiction and homelessness and being locked up, I've had my world rocked enough. And that's a kind of a commonality between addicts. We've had our world constantly rocked enough that we're somewhat prepared for when it happens. I mean, not totally. Okay. It's not great. But we've seen it before on a personal level. So, yeah, that's why, that's why again, there's the universal nature paranoia, but I'm not freaked out because personally I've been through worse. But personally,
yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, it doesn't mean, I don't mean to shade anybody else for, 'cause this is very new to a lot of people.
No, absolutely.
I did a Patreon live stream I don't know if it helped or not, but I tried to help with dealing with confinement because I've had to deal with it for long periods of time, and like what, exercises you can do and getting into a rhythm to help the time pass. So you're not thinking about it as much. Yeah.
I think I need to listen
routines.
to that.
Yeah, no, definitely get yourself into a routine every day. And it definitely helps.
Yeah. I was thinking about you telling me that the other day when I was kind of feeling weird and in despair, and my mood ping pongs around wildly, and yeah, definitely off balance because of all this shit.
Yeah. And who could,
but I put on a happy face on live streams because, I don't want to bitch.
Can you? Does your mask have? It doesn't have a smile setting, does it? It just it's just got a setting of "I will conquer."
That is my smile setting, Gary.
Ah, okay.
I don't know. What are you saying? I don't get it. I don't know what you're talking about. It's a happy face. You wouldn't want to see my unhappy face. You can't handle the unhappy face.
No.
Girthy guitarist SD in the chat says, regarding the Sinatra songs, they're standards, Doomcock. Lots of artists use Nelson Riddle arrangements. Yes, but if you use them, don't make them suck. Okay? Don't be a little wuss like Booble and go ahead and change the key a half step or a full step. Just a tiniest little like annoying shift of the key that makes it that much worse. If you can't sing it, pick some other songs. You schmuck. I hate Booble. I hate it. If you don't have anything new or interesting to add to a Sinatra song, then just shut up. Just shut up. Okay? We've already got the Sinatra songs. Unless you can do it better or do it with more nuance or feeling or something, then shut up. Booble, you suck. Mitch Thibault with a $13.99 Canadian super chat. Hail to my friend Mitch. He says, hail Gary, our overlord's partner in crime and world domination.
Hail.
Hail Mitch Thibault. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. Hail Mitch and the rest of the entourage. Hail Chris. Hail Mia. Sending a shout out to you guys.
I was going to say, there's a band. I feel the same way, like how you feel about Blair. I don't know if I want to say it, though. It might piss people off. A lot of people like this band, but I can't stand this band.
Really?
Yeah.
But you don't want to say it?
I'll say it. I can't stand Oasis. So we heard the Beatles already. Want to be Gallagher brothers.
They tried to be like the successors to the Beatles, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
But they got some passionate fans, and every time I bring it up on live streams, they're like, unsubbed. It's like, I like a lot of other things though.
Well, yeah. I mean, we all like a lot of things. I'm just saying, look, I hardly ever talk about music, but Booble pisses me off as a singer. Okay. I do not like that. I do not like that. I had a gig once where I was singing with a big band, and I was sent like these arrangements, and all of them were in like the Booble key, which I simply could not abide. It's like, oh, I should unlearn this song and go ahead and sing it a half step up and completely ruin it and piss on it. Great. Yeah. No. Anyway, I was hostile.
The Doomcock does not abide.
The Doomcock does not abide with that bullshit. It does not.
Hell no.
No. Hell no. Alan Hanley with a $2 super chat. Hello, Alan. He says, I think your birthday is tomorrow. Mine is too. Congratulations, Alan Hanley. You know who else's birthday is tomorrow? George Lucas's.
No way.
Yeah, that's what I'm told. Unless they were lying to me. Apparently, George Lucas's birthday is tomorrow as well. So happy birthday, George.
Yeah, cool.
Lori Roberts with a $5 super chat. Hail to Lori Roberts, the high priestess of Harvey, who says, Harvey, this is your stream. Make sure you get the wampum.
All the wampum belong to us. All your wampum belong to us.
Like all your base belong to us?
Well, yes, that was the derivation.
Thank you, Harvey. Thank you, Lori Roberts. Yes, what the hell? Harvey can have all the damn wampum. Fine. You happy? It's my birthday coming up, not his, but to hell with it. To hell with Doomcock. Harvey can just have it.
Harvey,
sure,
where do you keep your wampum?
In my wallet.
You have like an Eldridge God wallet?
Well,
is it like a pocket dimension wallet?
Well, kind of, because, it's like I'm not bound by time and space, right? So it's kind of like, it's like a TARDIS, only it hasn't been soiled by Chibnall. So it's actually a much better wallet than Doctor Who as a show at this point.
That's true.
It's very sad.
So is any average crevice.
Yeah, exactly. So is any random cow patty. I hate that shit. God, I hate that shit. I hate what they've done. I hate Chibnall. Hate Whitaker. Sorry. Thank you, Laurie Roberts. It just every time I think of it, it chaps my. Lucas is today, says Mike Drop. Okay. And Fab Spartan 95 says, I love Elijah Craig. It's excellent bourbon. Hail. So do I, man. I'm just swilling this stuff. I'm getting happier. Lori Wilson, is the wallet bigger on the inside? Yes, it is. It's basically bottomless.
But then I might lose my wampum. Oh, shit, I got to get out of there.
Poor Harvey. He can't win. He just can't win. Bird of Prey 5, my dear friend who just was in the hospital, had to go into the hospital. And Bird of Prey 5, it's wonderful to see you, my friend, with a super chat to boot from Bird of Prey 5. Thank you, brother. He says, awesome ExoZone. Makes night in hospital so much easier. Hail Doomcock and Gary. Hail all Kapla. Folks, please give Bird of Prey 5 some love and support. He's lying in the hospital right now. If you could type B out in the chat and just send some love to Bird of Prey 5 for him. He's a great guy, a hell of a great member of the Fandom Menace, and just a hell of a good YouTuber as well. Please send him some love. Hail Bird of Prey 5.
Bird is the embodiment of gratitude. Okay, so a lot of us complained about a lot of things. A lot of people talk about stunning and brave and all that bullshit. Bird is all those things. Okay,
he is.
So I love that man.
I love him too, man. Make Klingons great again. Right. Hail Bird of Prey 5. Kaplop, brother. We're waiting for you. You get better. You come over. And let us know how you're doing. Keep in touch, brother. Thank you for being here tonight. Bless you, my friend. Stargate 404 with 2 super chats of $5 in a row. Thank you very much, Stargate 404. And he says, President of the United States said he wanted to disclose UFO stuff before the election. If it takes a few years to make a TV show, could disclosure be coming from the top? I don't know, man. I mean, when he was asked about it, he sounded kind of like non-committal, honestly, about it. When he said, pilots have seen things and, it's weird things. He seemed kind of, I don't know, ambushed by it. I don't know. He didn't seem like he really wanted to talk about it. So I don't feel like disclosure is coming from that angle.
No, the president's too low on the totem pole to even know about this stuff. I think that's been pretty well established. I do believe that the other party was ready to use it to help them in the election with Panetta. I mean, Panetta has been behind a lot of this stuff, and Harry Reid. However you feel, listen, I'm not a big politician fan, period. But if they want to disclose UFOs, I'll be a fan of that issue. Certainly, I'll back you on that issue. And honestly, at this point, I don't give a damn what your motivations are. I just want to hear it, so we can move. Because once we get most of the people probably believe, but once we get most of the institutions with their, the sticks out of their butts about this subject, we can move forward and start like actually doing some real research. Now that's being done by a lot of good ufologists out there who have dedicated their lives, because once it's an obsession. It is. Once you get that bug, it's been part of my life since I was a kid. I'm not saying I'm like full on researcher, but I'm not a layman on this stuff. I've read the subject I have read the most of was UFO books. I've read hundreds and hundreds of UFO books, and and some of them are crap and some of them aren't. But they tend to hit the right beats. There's certain, like, each UFO book will mention Roswell, of course, but they'll also mention the crash in Mexico as well, which is like the Mexican Roswell, which is a total fascinating story that we should talk about someday.
Oh yeah.
Richard Dolan just did a 2-part thing on it, and it's the commonality that you see throughout all the books, that they'll mention like 5 or 6 events that are things that happened. The Battle of Los Angeles is one of them as well, and also the UFOs tagging the nukes, which I did finally see that documentary from 2016. It's on Amazon Prime. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's spooky, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really spooky. They say like there's no love like your first love. And for me, I think the first UFO book I read was Flying Saucers Serious Business by Frank Edwards.
Yep.
And to me, that thing is, I don't know, it's like mythic, it's I don't know. I look at those pictures and read those stories, and it's just, I've got a couple of copies that I've managed to squirrel away over the years.
Nice.
I really love that book. It's a hell of a good book.
And it is serious business. It's not woo-woo. Not to me.
Not anymore, buddy. Not anymore. It's not woo-woo at all. Stargate 404 with another $5 super chat. Hail to the Stargate. He says, have you ever seen the movie Life? They bring back a sample from Mars to the International Space Station, and it's scary to think about. It is scary to think about. I think it's amazing to me, Gary, that Hollywood has frequently predicted and presaged scary things and maybe saved the world a couple of times. Already, this movie about life, talking about bringing a sample from Mars back to the International Space Station, it's like a cautionary tale. Same thing. I'm not entirely unconvinced that Dr. Strangelove and Failsafe, 2 movies that are the same plot but with different approaches, didn't save the world way back when, because before those movies, the public was blithely unaware of how hair trigger and poised on the brink of disaster we were. Those movies basically publicized the precarious situation we were all in.
Oh yeah.
I think, honestly, it resulted in awareness in Congress and awareness in all branches of government.
Oh my God. The day after scared an entire Generation X crapped its pants collectively after they watched The Day After, which was, it's just a TV movie. But when you see Jason Robards dying of radiation poisoning at the end, it freaked. And the thing is, the hype around it.
Yeah.
I forgot what network put it on, but
ABC, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like, this is going to be the scariest thing you'll ever see.
Right.
It's the reality of nuclear war. And man, everybody was freaked out, and it worked. You're right. And that was just, that was a no brainer. I think you're right about Dr. Strangelove for sure.
I really do. And Failsafe, you ever seen that?
I haven't seen Failsafe.
Oh, it's a really good movie, dude. Really good movie. It's a black and white movie, stars Henry Fonda as the president. And it has Larry Hagman, of I Dream of Jeannie and Dallas, as the translator, the Russian translator in the room with him. It's a really, really good movie. It sucks you in every time I see it on TV, like halfway through. I've never caught it from the beginning, but I always watch it to the end. Really good movie. And it's between the two, the 1-2 punch of Dr. Strangelove and Failsafe. It really, I think, changed the world. We're very lucky that those movies came out. So every once in a while, Hollywood gets something right. And back then, that was entertainment, man.
Oh, they predict stuff. They predict stuff pretty well.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes eerily, as the Lone Gunman episode, the pilot, where a plane was going to be crashed into the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center, to institute martial law across the country.
There's another one. I made a video about it and then I chickened out. I didn't put it on. I didn't put it on YouTube at all.
Probably wise.
I tried to put it on BitChute. They wouldn't let me. So it's on my, I tried to upload it 6 times. They wouldn't let me. So it's on my website. I made it available to my patrons, and I guess people can watch it now if you want after the show.
Holy shit.
And the Dead Zone, the TV show, The Dead Zone, predicted pretty well what's going on right now. Right down to a very a controversial treatment that people have been talking about, right down to that. I don't know if Bird saw the video, but yeah. So you remember Anthony Michael Hall did a show called Dead Zone, which is based on Stephen King's book,
right?
And which was made into a great Cronenberg movie, which is just freaking excellent. My favorite Stephen King movie is Dead Zone. But they did a TV show that Mrs. Nerdrotic liked quite a bit. I saw a couple episodes. It came out in 2003. There's an episode called Plague. And so I did a video. Somebody else did a lot of the cutting down, so I just commented on this video. And it's freaking weird. And it's just like that Lone Gunman episode, man. It's so weird how Hollywood can do this stuff once in a while.
It's weird. The Simpsons also has a hell of a record about that. We should talk about that at some point. But yeah, it's weird. Thank you, Stargate 404. 487 Sean Tower with a $10 Canadian super chat. Thank you, 487 Sean Tower. Says Doomcock, I do not believe there are aliens out there. As the simple example in nature, when a stronger species meets a weaker one, we are still breathing. Well, that's terrestrial in our experience, 487 Sean Tower. I mean, look, if you have this kind of technological capability and the ability to travel at these rates of speed and so on, the universe is your oyster. There simply is. I think all those examples of where a stronger species meets a weaker one and the weaker one gets obliterated, it's because of scarcity. It's because of the struggle for resources, the struggle for global dominance, survival. But if survival and abundance are not issues anymore, scarcity is not a problem. If you can mine the asteroids, if you can go, we can find water over here, we can go over here. What's the point of zap zap, rack, conquering the earth? It's like who's got time for that shit? Who cares?
Also, and there's no data on 2 species, that we know of, unless like dolphins are. I mean, they're pretty smart, I guess, but
they are.
But something on our level of intelligence, you might be right. There might have been past to maybe the Neanderthal and Cro-Magnon, but I don't think we've had an example of two species at this level of consciousness. And I think you're right. I think if anything, we're just ants to them. I mean, we're not enough to go after unless a group of us go to their home world or something and start attacking. We're just going to be nothing to them, something to look at, a curiosity. And there's probably a bunch of us. And think about it. Think about how we look to what Doomcock just said, an advanced race. I mean, we're just like a zoo planet, basically, something to look at. And they're a long way off. They're not going to be a threat anytime soon. But if we had light speed and we were going out there, then I don't know, it might be different. You never know.
And besides, the whole point of this is perhaps what they are actually after is things that only human beings who are alive can provide, which is, of course, our essence. They want to derive our essence, and that is why we are probed. They are harvesting our essence. It's like in hearkening back to Strangelove.
General Jack D. Ripper talking about purity of essence. The women sense my power, but I deny them my essence. Well, essence is what the a special like the ether. It's a undiscovered resource that the universe runs on that we interpret as farts. So maybe they're after our essence with their probes. I'm just saying. It's speculation. But there you go, 487 Sean Tower. That's my best guess. And thank you for the super chat. Adam Wofford with 2 super chats in a row, a $10 super chat. Thank you, Adam. Says it's a stealth ship from The Expanse. Hey, Nerdrotic, I sent you that video on Twitter about ships going across the moon. So is the U.S. making the Epstein drive with stealth ships?
Huh. You think they would? If you think, I mean, for one, as far as technology is concerned, what we know about, and they said this on Undisclosed, and they've said it a million times, they're 20 years ahead of what we know about.
Easily.
So certainly, absolutely, yes. Why not use stealth in space, especially if you are concerned about other things being there? I don't know if it'd work though. I mean, but why not? Yeah.
I don't know, man. who can fathom their ways? I certainly can't, and I don't want to. Adam Wofford with a $2 super chat says at weapon 9901. I don't know. Are you referencing somebody in the chat? Adam Wofford at weapon 91901. Well, thanks, Adam, for both of those. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe they are developing something like the Epstein drive on the moon. Now, Agent Pepsi 1 with a $2 super chat and a husband who is a pilot says U.S. has several satellites in lunar orbit right now. Well, I did not know that. I mean, guys, I guess that makes me feel a little better about China being up there, screwing around on our moon. But yeah, I don't really know. I just don't know what to think. So thank you very much, Agent Pepsi 1, for that reassuring super chat. Sandra Feliciano with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Sandra. Says it's great having this stream after a stressful day at work. Thank you guys for sharing this fascinating material and a great end to the day. Let's hope it's not a permanent end to the day. Let's hope they forestall the invasion another day. Hail Sandra Feliciano, my personal pirate and a legionnaire as well. Thank you, Sandra, very much. Apex Tyrannus with a $10 super chat. Hail Apex Tyrannus. He says the first thing any researcher of the UFO phenomenon has to realize is that any government secrecy and equally disclosure of the UFO phenomenon must happen from behest of the UFOs, not the government. Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Might not be wrong on that one. No. And we also have to keep in mind, and there's very few researchers who bring this up regularly. That is listen, as much as I'm anti institutionalism, they might have a very good reason for not telling us that we have to at least consider that possibility that maybe it's just good that we don't know. Maybe it's something that's not a direct threat, but if we found out, that they are harvesting human beings because they like our O-rings as a delicacy or something like that. Yeah. Maybe we don't need to know that.
That's true. I mean, it might just be better not to know these things. It's better for you. It's better for me. It's better for them.
Better for them.
We just don't want to know. We don't want to know what we don't know. The things we do know, we still don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Thank you, Apex Tyrannus, who also with another $10 super chat. Bless you, my friend. Says SpaceX just got awarded a contract from NASA to build a version of Starship for moon missions for cargo and crew in 2024. Have you planned a trip from Austin to Boca Chica yet to see Starship? What is Starship? You put it in quotes,
Jefferson
like to build
Starship?
a version of Starship. Yeah, it's like what if only you believe it, miracles, babe. I mean, I don't know. What are they going to sing their way to the moon? What
Grace
does that
Slick?
mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Build a version of Starship. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll and moon dust. I don't know. No, I have not. I have not planned a trip to Boca Chica. I don't even know where. Is that in Florida? Where's Boca Chica?
I don't know. I'm looking it up right now.
Boca Chica. Down, 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 down. I don't know. That's interesting, though. That's interesting. SpaceX, huh? It's sad when basically NASA has to contract out with the private sector to get anything done these days. But
yeah, it's called Starship. It's planned to be a fully reusable super heavy lift launch vehicle. The vehicle is under development at SpaceX as a self-funded private spaceflight project.
Cool. Weird. You know, it's like the much elusive space plane that Chuck Yeager wanted. You know, I mean, Chuck Yeager didn't want to be an astronaut because it's like, they just strap you in the chair like a monkey and you go up there and you don't have any control over it. I want to fly. I don't want to be rocketed. Same thing. I mean, I don't understand why we don't have a spaceship, you know, an actual spaceship that like flies to a certain height. And then when the air gets too thin, then uses propulsion to escape Earth's orbit. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, they're launching the space plane, what, tomorrow, you said? Or
that's what it said. Wow. I don't know anything about this. I didn't have a chance to look up before our broadcast.
X-37B.
Yes.
Yeah, it's taking off the 16th.
That's right. The day after my birthday. So we'll see what happens. Hope it does well.
Yeah.
I think that's exciting. But thank you, Apex Tyrannus, for that super chat. Zero Duality with a $2 Canadian super chat says, "Hail Doomscock, hail Gary's beard, hail Doomscock, and hail Gary's beard." So there you go.
There you go.
Hail Zero Duality. I appreciate that, brother Malachi, with a $5 super chat. Thankfully, it's not Malachi Martin who would do scary shows on Coast to Coast AM.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Malachi with a $5 super chat says, "Will you look into the Apophis asteroid and whether it will hit the Earth or not in 2029? I'm not optimistic, man. I mean, people have been talking about this damn Apophis, and what are we doing about it? Shouldn't we make damn sure that it doesn't hit the Earth instead of screwing around with all this bullshit that we screw around with? Shouldn't we precisely calculate, hitting it with a nudge that would just ooze it, a couple of degrees one way or another, so that by 2029 it's way, way, way missing us? I mean, if we know that this is even a chance, why are we not dealing with it? People are so stupid. I'm just tired of it, man. All this BS and politics garbage is a real threat,
right?
A special delivery. We got a singing telegram coming in 2029 for brother Malachi. I guess we should look at it. We should look at it, Gary, and do an ExoZone on it.
Yeah, Elon Musk is apparently looking into it. So I mean, at least somebody is.
At least somebody, for God's sakes. Thank you very much, brother Malachi. It's very important to check into that.
It is. They said 2.7% chance it'll hit Earth April 13th, 2029.
Jesus.
I want it to be 0.
Yes.
0 is good.
I think 0 would be good. What was the percentage? 20? What was it?
2.7% chance.
Oh, very small.
Very small.
Okay. Well, all right, but still, that's too much. Rojo Diablo with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Rojo Diablo, for those emojis. Very much appreciated. Rojo Diablo. Mitch Thibault with a $6.99 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Mitch. He says, in correction to my earlier super chat, happy birthday's Eve, Doomcock. Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Mitch Thibault. Appreciate it. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody is saying to me that what's going on? Says the video is up, but the chat is down.
Huh? Let me go check.
Let me see what's going on here. Let me stop sharing it. Maybe it got stuck somehow. let me see what's going on. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know what's going on.
Is it the chat on the video? I mean,
I don't know. That's what somebody is saying. The video is up, but the chat is
Whoa. Yeah, hang on a second.
That's weird. Okay, what should I do?
Oh, it's gone. We're down.
We're down?
We're down. No, now we're back.
It says
something's going on with YouTube.
Video is stopped, but we can still hear you.
Yeah, something's going on with YouTube. I'm on YouTube right now. I'm just double checking to make sure it's not my internet connection, but yeah, something's up with YouTube. Let me check the other side.
Have I dealt too much truth in this session of the ExoZone?
What the hell's going on here?
Was the disclosure about the chupacabra?
Oh,
disguised?
shit. YouTube is down, bro.
YouTube is down?
YouTube is like down.
All of YouTube. Holy shit.
Here, let me refresh. Yeah, all of YouTube is down.
Wow.
Can you guys still hear us?
Well, let's see.
I'm
refreshing
refreshing.
on both streams with Ethan and Doomcock.
So if you refresh, the video will stay up, but like, yeah, there's no descriptions or anything.
Wow.
Going on right now. They're trying to shut us down. It was the ExoZone. They did it. They got us.
Damn it. And they had to take out all of YouTube to make it happen.
Sorry, YouTube.
But the chat is down.
That
well,
sucks.
okay.
I am really happy I didn't release my video earlier.
I know.
I am extremely happy.
Well, dadgum, I don't know what's going on.
Else
okay, so
just keep
Stellar
going.
Heather in the chat says can still hear you on the ExoZone. Wow.
Okay.
Marco Antonio Checa Funke says, did YouTube just go nuts? I see this channel has no content for practically any channel I look at and no recommendations whatsoever. Sandra Feliciano says, I can hear you. Okay, well, we will press on then with our super chats and then probably wrap this thing up before we get well, whatever. That's weird. All right, let's press on, shall we, Gary? We've got some super chats here. Let's nail these things out and then see what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I'm going into my YouTube studio and I can't see anything. All my videos are gone. God. No, videos are there, but everything's off. No availability. No availability. No availability. This is gonna fuck the algorithm. Data is currently unavailable for some videos. As a result, information may be missing or accurate.
All dead. Wow.
Great. Okay.
The quickening, sir. The quickening.
It's the quickening.
We were discussing the previously hidden fact that Bigfoot is actually the chupacabra in disguise. And this disclosure has gone ahead and torpedoed YouTube. The entirety. Wow.
Hey, you were talking about Clyde getting shut down for a little while.
Yes.
So
that chunk of his broadcast got cut, just turned off. No broadcasting. How would that happen? How would they even do that?
Well,
but it happened.
One of the conspiracy theories that there's a conspiracy theory out there. I won't say what it's for in particular. That there will be some shutdowns in the next couple of weeks of certain internet things. That's as much as I'll elaborate on it. You can search the rest.
Well, this is weird.
Yeah.
So at least thank God that I found out about this before I got on. Like, I checked my channel and it says that. I'm freaking out. But it's basically the whole damn shebang.
Yeah. Like nothing's available.
Jeffrey Wolf says YouTube is going in and out. I still see your live show, but no chat.
Yeah.
So we'll bang these super chats out, and cross our fingers that it all comes back someday. I don't know what's going on. Matthew Gerwing with a $10 Canadian super chat. Thank you, Matthew Gerwing, who says, I believe that these aren't little green men, but tall blonde Germans from the Antarctic. They were working on the disc tech during World War II. Thank God they didn't fully develop. Well, yeah, tall blonde Germans from the Antarctic.
Hey, the Germans in WW2 were so far ahead of us. I mean, that's stuff I learn about every day.
The
But they
bell.
were so far ahead of us that it's kind of a miracle we won. I mean, it was just determination plus, the bad man was insane. That didn't help. But there was a good chance we could have lost that.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And then we brought over their scientists. And for the longest time, I just thought, I didn't think about it much. I didn't think about the fact that these scientists were probably pretty evil. And we used them. I mean, we got to space and good came out of it. But it's, hey, that's history, though. That's history. And unlike the kids of today, as bad as history can be, we still got to move on. And you don't, trash a space program because it was created by somebody evil. You just make something good out of it and try not to do that again.
You don't.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the operation to bring the Germans over?
Paperclip.
Yep. Paperclip. Very well. I knew you would. As Tom Lehrer put it in the introduction to one of his famous songs, he said, "And what is it that put America at the forefront of the nuclear nations? And what is it that will allow us to spend $1 billion to put some clown on the moon? Well, it was good old American know-how. That's what, as exemplified by good old Americans like Dr. Werner von Braun."
So they knew what was up.
Yes, he was funny. God, he was good. Adam Wofford with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Adam. Says, here is something. Breaking news. A former White House official is putting up a bill for $1,000 forever. Sounds like basic income from the Expanse.
Yeah, basic.
Huh. Interesting. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what I'm sick of is corporate welfare. Corporate welfare, funding Hollywood, all this stuff. We pay the money in our taxes, right? I don't know. I don't mind the money being spent on me that I have to pay for a change. But socialism, when it impedes capitalism, is a terrible thing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the economy before this happened.
No, not really.
So,
not really.
No reason to say it couldn't bounce back.
No,
$1,000 for everyone. Is that enough? That's enough.
It's not. It's not. It's like enough. A basic subsistence kind of thing. It's like, It is like what Adam's saying, like the basic income from the Expanse.
It is. And thank God the Expanse paints that as like this awful thing to be on. And there's probably provisions that come with that too. There's certain things you probably can't do if you accept the money.
Right. And of course, to get it, you have to be, you have to have the chip in your hand.
No, we were heading in. Exactly. We were heading towards a pretty amazing thing. The gig economy. We were in it. It was almost a revisiting the old capitalism of where more people have the opportunity of being small business owners. Now you're not going to have a brick and mortar, but you don't need it that much anymore. And that's that overhead that's kind of priced a lot of regular folk out. But now in this gig economy, you don't need that. And it sucks. I hope we don't lose that because it is, it's helped you, it's helped me, it's helped a lot of people during this crisis, where you can figure out ways to earn a living, honestly, or dishonestly, whatever, through the internet, through connections with people, through groups, through whatever. That was a good thing. Yeah. I don't want to see that go away.
No, I don't either.
Very, very bad.
I think basically that we should use this opportunity to rejigger things in our society to have a whole lot more telecommuting, because now we've seen that it can work. And this idea, this old-fashioned, quaint notion that we have to have our asses in an office chair in a cubicle, and spend the time commuting and spend the fuel costs and the attendant pollution and the congestion of the traffic and everything else is quaint and stupid. There are some jobs you have to show up physically for, and there's a whole lot of other jobs that you can do at home. And I'm all for allowing people to work at home and have more flexible schedules and basically be treated like adults. You know, don't you think?
Yeah.
God, I hated when I had to drive every day. It's God, I hate that shit. I hate being in traffic. Oh, I hate it.
Right there with you. My commute for my last job was terrible.
Oh man. So I'm getting all sorts of messages. You know what? I feel like
I think we're down now.
What's going out?
Oh, wait, no, we're back up.
I think maybe we should just go ahead and end this because we don't know really what's going on. I will do a super chat square up. I just posted a super chat square up from the Friday Night Frolics last week on the Harvey Zone. I'm going to do one for the Inquisition, and I will also group in these as well in that one, kind of group them together. So we'll get that out there. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, and hopefully we will be back soon. Hopefully this wasn't some kind of weird I don't know what's going on, dude. Let's you and I stay in touch and confer on this on Twitter and see what we can find out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going out at this point, and it's not proper. So let's just go ahead and wrap it up, dude. I think we tried carrying on, but this is weird.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Well, shit. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock and Gary Beekler saying to you all, hopefully we will talk to you shortly. Yeah, look, there's just nothing to see, man. It's just frozen. This is dead. Man, this is weird. Okay, you guys, we will be back. Take care. I will do a super chat square up and put it on the Harvey Zone, and we will talk to you later.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Yeah,
guys.
sorry. I was trying to figure out what's going on, but I have no idea. So
I have no idea. All right, you guys. We'll talk to you later, and I will post that soon. And we will go ahead and try to carry on tomorrow. Good night, you guys.
take care, everyone.
Okay.